India is a land of ancient legends, mysterious rituals, and haunted places that send chills down your spine. But what happens when folklore turns into reality? From cursed forts to restless spirits in forests, these aren't just tales. They're true ghost stories that will leave you questioning the world around you. Brace yourself for 10 of the most spine-tingling, true ghost stories from India, where the supernatural meets the everyday. Are you ready to face the unknown? Story 1. The Haunted Tale of Shanawawada Fort. In the bustling city of Pune, India, stands Shanawawada Fort, a majestic 18th century structure built by the Peshwas of the Maratha Empire. By day, the fort is a popular tourist destination, attracting visitors with its stunning architecture and historical significance. But as the sun dips below the horizon, Shanawawada takes on an entirely different persona, a place steeped in chilling whispers and haunting cries that echo through its ruins. The story begins in 1773 with the assassination of Narayana Rao, the fifth Peshwa of the Maratha Empire. At just 18 years old, Narayana Rao was caught in a web of palace intrigue. His uncle, Raghunathro, and aunt, Anandabai, plotted against him to seize power. The conspiracy culminated in a tragic betrayal. Mercenaries, under the guise of arresting him, stormed the fort and killed the young Peshwa in cold blood. As Narayana Rao was being dragged through the corridors of Shanawawada, his desperate cries for help echoed through the walls. "Kaka, Mala Vachva," he screamed in Marathi, meaning "Uncle, save me." But his pleas went unanswered, and he met his untimely end. It is said that Narayana Rao's spirit never left the fort. Visitors and locals claim that on full moon nights, his anguished cries can still be heard, piercing the eerie silence of the fort. Those brave enough to wander near the ruins at night report hearing footsteps, whispers, and the faint, heart-wrenching plea, "Mala Vachva." The fort has become synonymous with paranormal activity. Guards posted at Shanawawada have shared spine-chilling experiences. Some say they've seen shadowy figures darting through the ruins, while others swear they've felt an unseen presence following them. In 1828, a massive fire engulfed most of the fort, leaving only its stone walls intact. The cause of the fire remains a mystery, further fueling tales of the fort's haunted nature. Locals believe the fire was a manifestation of the curse that befell the Peshwas after Narayana Rao's murder. Today, while the fort attracts countless tourists during the day, few dare to stay past sunset. Stories of paranormal encounters persist, and the haunting legacy of Narayana Rao continues to send shivers down the spines of those who visit. Shanawawada Fort stands as a testament to the rich history of the Maratha Empire, but it is also a chilling reminder of the tragic events that unfolded within its walls. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain: the cries of Mala Vachva will forever be etched in the fort's history. Story 2. The Ghost of Kuldhara, Rajasthan's abandoned village. In the heart of Rajasthan, near the golden sands of Jaisalmer, lies the eerie village of Kuldhara. Once a prosperous settlement of the Paliwal Brahmins, the village has been abandoned for over 200 years. The reason for its desertion is shrouded in mystery, but the legends that surround Kuldhara make it one of India's most haunted places. The story begins in the early 19th century, when Kuldhara was a flourishing village, known for its well-planned streets, advanced irrigation systems, and vibrant community. However, its downfall began with Salim Singh, a cruel and lecherous minister of the Jaisalmer state. He set his sights on the daughter of the village chief and demanded to marry her, threatening to impose heavy taxes on the villagers if they refused. The Paliwals, known for their unity and dignity, were horrified. Marrying their daughter to such a despicable man was unthinkable. In a fateful decision, the entire community of Kuldhara, along with residents of 83 neighboring villages, vanished overnight. They left their homes, belongings, and livelihoods behind, seemingly without a trace. Before they left, the Paliwals cursed the land, vowing that no one would ever be able to settle in Kuldhara again. To this day, the village remains uninhabited. Those who have tried to stay overnight report a series of inexplicable and terrifying events. Visitors to Kuldhara often recount a sense of unease as they walk through its desolate streets. Many claim to feel an invisible presence, as though they are being watched. Others have heard whispers in the wind, footsteps in the sand, or the faint sound of anklets, as if women are walking through the abandoned village. Some visitors have reported seeing ghostly apparitions, a young woman in traditional attire wandering among the ruins, or shadowy figures that disappear when approached. The ruins themselves appear to carry the weight of sorrow and despair, with an oppressive silence that seems to engulf the village at night. In one chilling account, a group of paranormal researchers decided to camp overnight in Kuldhara. They reported hearing disembodied voices, witnessing objects move on their own, and feeling sudden drops in temperature. One of them even claimed to have seen a spectral figure standing at the edge of a broken house, watching them intently before vanishing into thin air. Despite its haunted reputation, Kuldhara has become a tourist attraction. Visitors come from far and wide to explore its mysterious ruins and hear the tales of its cursed past. The Rajasthan government has also taken steps to preserve the site, recognizing its historical and cultural significance. Yet, the mystery of Kuldhara endures. Why did the Pali walls leave so suddenly? Was the curse real, or is it a story passed down through generations to explain the village's abandonment? And who, or what, still roams its ghostly streets? Kuldhara remains a place where history and the supernatural intertwine, captivating the imagination of all who visit. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the haunted village of Kuldhara stands as a chilling reminder of its tragic past and the enduring power of its curse. Story 3. The Ghost of Dao Hill, Kurseong, West Bengal. Nestled amidst the misty hills of West Bengal, the quiet town of Kurseong is famous for its scenic beauty, lush tea gardens, and cool mountain air. But beneath its serene exterior lies a dark secret, Dao Hill. This quaint area, home to an old boarding school and dense forests, is infamous for its spine-chilling paranormal activity. Victoria Boys High School, one of the oldest boarding schools in the region, has been the center of many ghost stories. Staff and locals claim to hear the echoes of footsteps reverberating through the empty corridors, especially during the school's long vacations when the building is deserted. Some have even reported strange whispers and fleeting shadows moving across the hallways. One particular room in the school is said to be cursed. It is rumored that the room remains locked at all times, as anyone who stays inside experiences terrifying visions or falls mysteriously ill. Despite these tales, the school continues to function, with its haunted reputation only adding to its mystique. A winding road through the forest near Dao Hill is the setting for one of Kurseong's most terrifying legends. Locals speak of a headless ghost, a male figure said to wander aimlessly through the woods. Drivers traveling along the road at night have reported seeing the apparition, often walking ahead of their vehicles before vanishing into thin air. The road has an unsettling reputation, with many people reporting an overwhelming feeling of dread as they pass through the forest. Some have described hearing blood-curdling screams or seeing red, glowing eyes peering at them from the darkness. Dao Hill's eerie atmosphere is compounded by real-life tragedy. The forest is rumored to have been the site of numerous murders. Locals say that the spirits of those who met untimely deaths haunt the woods, their restless souls unable to find peace. The combination of these tragic events and the chilling paranormal activity has led to Dao Hill being dubbed the most haunted place in West Bengal. Many who have dared to venture into Dao Hill at night share spine-tingling stories. A group of hikers once claimed to see shadowy figures moving between the trees, accompanied by whispers and strange laughter. Another visitor reported feeling an icy hand brush against their shoulder, even though no one was there. Even during the day, the forest exudes an uncanny silence. The birds seem to avoid the area, and even the rustling of leaves feels otherworldly. Visitors often describe a heavy, oppressive atmosphere, as though the forest itself is alive and watching them. Despite its haunted reputation, Dao Hill attracts thrill seekers, ghost hunters, and curious tourists. Some come to explore the spooky forest, while others hope to catch a glimpse of the infamous headless ghost. The stories surrounding Dow Hill have made it a magnet for those intrigued by the supernatural. But for the locals, Dow Hill remains a place of caution. Many avoid the forest altogether, especially after dark, and warn others to do the same. Whether the tales are true or simply the product of overactive imaginations, one thing is certain. Dow Hill's reputation as a haunted hotspot is here to stay. Story 4. The Legend of the Dumas Beach, Gujarat. On the western coast of India, near the bustling city of Surat, lies Dumas Beach, a serene yet mysterious stretch of black sand. By day, it is a picturesque spot where locals and tourists gather to enjoy the cool sea breeze and scenic beauty. But by night, Dumas Beach transforms into a realm of fear and intrigue, infamous for its ghostly legends and paranormal activities. The origins of the hauntings are tied to the history of the beach. It is said that Dumas Beach was once a Hindu cremation ground, where countless rituals and last rites were performed. The ashes of the departed mingled with the sands, giving it a dark hue and a reputation for being spiritually charged. Locals believe that the souls of those who did not find peace during their lifetime linger on the beach, trapped between this world and the next. Visitors to Dumas Beach often speak of eerie occurrences, particularly at night. Many have reported hearing strange whispers when no one else is around, as if unseen entities are speaking to each other. These whispers grow louder and more unsettling the deeper one ventures into the beach at night. Some have claimed to hear faint cries or the sound of anklets, as though someone invisible is walking beside them. There are also stories of people feeling an inexplicable pull toward the sea, as if something unseen is luring them into the water. One of the most chilling aspects of Dumas Beach is the number of unexplained disappearances reported over the years. Locals warn against venturing too far out into the sea, as many who have done so have never returned. The waves are deceptively calm, but some believe they hide malevolent spirits waiting to claim unsuspecting victims. Tourists who ignore these warnings often return with tales of strange sightings, a shadowy figure following them, glowing orbs hovering over the water, or ghostly apparitions appearing and disappearing in the distance. Parts of the beach are said to be cursed, where no birds fly or animals venture. Even during the day, an unnatural silence hangs over certain areas, broken only by the crashing of the waves. Locals avoid these spots, believing them to be portals to the spirit world. A group of paranormal investigators once attempted to spend a night on the beach, armed with cameras and recording equipment. They reported capturing inexplicable shadows, faint whispers in Gujarati, and sudden temperature drops. One investigator even claimed to feel a hand grasp their shoulder, though no one was there. Despite its haunted reputation, Dumas Beach remains a popular destination, attracting thrill seekers, ghost hunters, and curious tourists. The contrast between its natural beauty and eerie legends adds to its allure. However, locals continue to warn visitors not to ignore the signs or disrespect the spirits said to inhabit the beach. The haunting of Dumas Beach has become a part of its identity, a chilling reminder of its history as a place where the living and the dead coexist. Story 5. The Ghost of Bangor Fort, Rajasthan. Bangor Fort, located at the edge of the Sariska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, is often regarded as one of the most haunted places in India. Its grand architecture and picturesque setting make it an intriguing tourist destination by day. But as the sun sets, an ominous atmosphere descends on the fort, accompanied by tales of curses, spirits, and inexplicable phenomena. The haunting of Bangor Fort is tied to a tragic love story and a powerful curse. According to legend, the fort was built in the 17th century by Raja Madho Singh, but its doom was sealed by a local wizard named Singhiya, who was skilled in dark magic. Singhiya fell in love with Princess Ratnavati, a woman renowned for her beauty. Desperate to win her, Singhiya used his magic to enchant a bottle of perfume meant for the princess. However, Ratnavati saw through his ploy and threw the bottle onto a large boulder. The boulder rolled towards Singhiya, crushing him to death. Before dying, the wizard cursed the fort, proclaiming that no one would live there in peace. Shortly after, a battle broke out, leading to the massacre of the fort's inhabitants, including Ratnavati. The fort was abandoned, and locals believe that the spirits of those who perished still haunt its grounds. The Archaeological Survey of India has put up signs warning visitors not to enter the fort after sunset. This has only fueled its reputation as a paranormal hotspot. Locals claim that the spirits of the fort become active at night, and anyone who dares to stay after dark faces dire consequences. Some visitors report hearing strange noises, cries, laughter, or whispers echoing through the ruins. Others have seen ghostly apparitions wandering the fort's corridors or felt an invisible presence following them. There are even accounts of people being pushed or slapped by unseen forces. One of the most chilling tales comes from a group of tourists who decided to stay overnight. They claim to hear heavy footsteps and distant screams, and their flashlight batteries drained inexplicably. By morning, they fled, vowing never to return. The curse extended beyond the fort to the nearby village of Bangor. Many houses in the village remain roofless because it is said that any roof built there collapses mysteriously. Locals avoid discussing the fort or its ghosts and rarely venture near it after sunset. Despite its haunted reputation, Bangor Fort attracts thousands of visitors every year. Its stunning ruins, surrounded by the Aravalli Hills, make it a fascinating destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts also flock to the site, hoping to experience its supernatural elements firsthand. Yet, the fort's eerie silence, desolate corridors, and haunting legends leave an indelible impression on all who visit. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Bangor Fort's aura of mystery and danger is impossible to ignore. Story 6. The Ghost of Jalakdungri Hill, Jharkhand. Deep in the tribal heartland of Jharkhand, near the small town of Bokaro, lies the enigmatic Jalakdungri Hill. Known for its dense forests and scenic beauty, this hill carries an unsettling reputation for supernatural activity. Locals avoid venturing into the area after sunset, fearing the wrath of the spirits said to haunt the region. The haunting of Jalakdungri Hill is rooted in a tragic tale. It is said that decades ago, a small tribal community lived on the hill, practicing their ancient rituals and living in harmony with nature. However, a land dispute with a nearby landlord led to a massacre. The entire community, including women and children, was killed, and their bodies were left to rot in the forest without proper rites. The spirits of the dead, angered by the violence and lack of dignity in their deaths, are said to have cursed the land. Since then, Jalakdungri Hill has been shrouded in mystery, and tales of ghostly encounters have grown over the years. Visitors to Jalakdungri Hill often describe a sense of unease, especially after dark. Some report hearing faint tribal drum beats and chants echoing through the forest, though no one is there. Others have seen shadowy figures moving between the trees, disappearing when approached. One of the most chilling legends is that of the Watcher spirit. Many claim to see glowing red eyes watching them from the darkness of the forest. Those who stare back too long report feeling disoriented or even losing consciousness, only to wake up far from where they had been. There are also stories of people hearing footsteps behind them as they climb the hill, but when they turn around, no one is there. Some have even claimed to feel an invisible force tugging at their clothes, as though trying to pull them back down the hill. In a particularly infamous incident, a group of hunters went into the forest of Jalakdungri Hill one night, determined to prove the ghost stories wrong. They never returned. Days later, search parties found their belongings scattered in the forest, but there was no sign of the hunters. To this day, their disappearance remains a mystery. Locals perform annual rituals at the base of the hill to appease the spirits, offering food, flowers, and prayers. These ceremonies are believed to keep the spirits at bay and prevent them from harming anyone. However, even with these precautions, few dare to spend the night near the hill despite its haunted reputation. Jalakdungri Hill attracts adventure enthusiasts and thrill seekers. The stunning natural beauty of the area makes it a popular destination for daytime trekking. but the tales of ghosts ensure that visitors rarely linger after sunset. The hill remains a place where history, tragedy, and the supernatural collide, leaving an indelible mark on the imagination of all who visit. Whether it's the whispering winds, the shadowy figures, or the glowing red eyes, Jalak Dungri Hill is a chilling reminder of the stories that linger in the places we least expect. Story 7. The Ghost of Shanawada Fort, Pune, Maharashtra. In the heart of Pune, Maharashtra, stands the majestic Shanawada Fort, a structure steeped in history and shadowed by tragedy. Built in 1732 by the Peshwas of the Maratha Empire, the fort was once a symbol of power and grandeur. Today, it is known not just for its historical significance, but also for the chilling, ghostly tales that surround it. The haunting of Shanawada Fort is tied to the gruesome murder of Narayana Rao, a young Peshwa ruler. At the age of just 18, Narayana Rao became embroiled in a bitter power struggle with his uncle Raghunathro and aunt Anandabai. According to legend, Anandabai manipulated her husband, Raghunathro, into issuing an order to capture Narayana Rao. However, the message was deliberately altered by Anandabai to instruct the soldiers to kill him instead. On a fateful night in 1773, a group of assassins stormed the fort and brutally murdered Narayana Rao in his chambers. As he was being dragged away, it is said that Narayana Rao cried out, "Kaka, Mala Vachva, Uncle, save me." His desperate plea echoed through the halls of the fort, but no help came. The young Peshwa's death remains one of the darkest chapters in the history of the Maratha Empire. To this day, visitors and locals claim to hear the ghostly cry of Kaka, Mala Vachva, resonating through the fort, especially on full moon nights. The eerie sound is said to come from the very spot where Narayana Rao was killed, sending chills down the spines of those who hear it. The fort's corridors and gardens are believed to be haunted by Narayana Rao's restless spirit. Some have reported feeling an unseen presence, as though they are being watched. Others have experienced sudden drops in temperature or seen fleeting shadows darting between the ruins. Tourists and night guards have shared unsettling stories of paranormal activity. One guard claimed to see a ghostly figure in royal attire wandering the grounds before vanishing into thin air. Another described hearing faint whispers and footsteps, even though the fort was empty. Several visitors have reported feeling an inexplicable sadness or a sense of foreboding while exploring the fort. Some believe this is Narayana Rao's lingering grief, a tragic echo of his untimely death. Adding to the fort's tragic history is the devastating fire of 1828, which destroyed much of its structure. The cause of the fire remains a mystery, and some locals attribute it to the fort's cursed past. The ruins that remain today are a stark reminder of the fort's glorious yet haunted history. Despite its haunted reputation, Shanawada Fort is a popular tourist attraction. Its majestic walls, intricate architecture, and lush gardens draw visitors from across the country. The fort is also illuminated at night for sound and light shows that narrate its history. Yet, the haunting cries of Narayana Rao and the tales of ghostly apparitions add an air of mystery to the fort. For many, Shanawada is more than just a historical site. It is a place where the past and the supernatural intertwine, creating an experience that is both fascinating and unsettling. Story 8. The Ghost of the Savoy Hotel, Mussoorie, Uttarakhand. Nestled in the misty hills of Mussoorie, the Savoy Hotel is a majestic structure that exudes old-world charm. Yet, behind its grand facade lies a chilling tale of betrayal, murder, and a ghostly presence that has haunted its corridors for over a century. The story dates back to 1911 when Lady Garnet Orme, a wealthy British spiritualist, checked into the Savoy Hotel. Lady Garnet had come to Mussoorie to recuperate and was often seen in the company of her doctor and close friend, Miss Frances. One morning, Lady Garnet was found dead in her room, with her door locked from the inside. The autopsy revealed traces of poison, specifically strychnine, in her body. Suspicion fell on Miss Frances, but the evidence was inconclusive, and the case remained unsolved. The tragic and mysterious circumstances of Lady Garnet's death left an indelible mark on the hotel. Soon after her death, Staff and guests began reporting strange occurrences in the hotel. Lady Garnet's ghost was said to wander the hallways, her faint figure draped in a flowing gown. The sound of her footsteps, accompanied by a faint scent of lavender, could often be heard in the dead of night. Guests who stayed in Lady Garnet's room reported eerie experiences, whispers in the dark, sudden chills, and the feeling of being watched. Some even claimed to see her ghostly figure standing by the window, gazing out at the hills as if searching for something or someone. One of the most chilling legends associated with the Savoy Hotel is that of locked doors. Guests have found themselves mysteriously locked inside their rooms, only to have the doors open on their own after a few minutes. Some believe this is Lady Garnet's way of reminding the world of her own tragic death in a locked room. There are also tales of lights flickering, furniture moving, and soft knocks on the doors at odd hours, with no one on the other side. The staff at the Savoy Hotel are no strangers to ghostly encounters. Many refuse to work alone at night, particularly on the upper floors. One housekeeper claimed to see a shadowy figure glide down the hallway and vanish through a wall. A security guard once heard soft laughter echoing through an empty corridor, followed by the inexplicable shattering of a glass vase. Even tourists who visit the hotel out of curiosity often leave with unsettling stories. Photographs showing unexplained figures, sudden headaches, or the strange sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Savoy Hotel remains a popular destination for travelers seeking a taste of colonial history and a brush with the paranormal. Its connection to Agatha Christie's novel The Mysterious Affair at Styles, inspired by Lady Garnet's death, only adds to its allure. For some, the ghost of Lady Garnet is a tragic reminder of an unsolved mystery. For others, she is a part of the Savoy's unique charm, a spectral presence that keeps the past alive. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the Savoy Hotel is a place where history and the supernatural walk hand in hand, leaving an indelible impression on all who visit. Story 9. The Whispering Forest, a true ghost story from India. Deep in the heart of the Western Ghats, nestled among lush greenery and misty peaks, lies a forest known locally as Bhutbani, the Haunted Grove. Villagers in the nearby town of Agrahara have whispered tales of the forest for generations. Travelers who venture into its depths often return with chilling stories, or worse, never return at all. This is the story of one such incident, recounted by a local guide named Ramesh, who swears by its truth. In the summer of 1997, a group of 4 college students from Mumbai decided to trek through the Western Ghats during their vacation. Among them was Karen, a skeptic who often scoffed at local legends. The group heard about Bhutbani from their host, who warned them not to venture into the forest after sunset. Strange things happen there, the host said. People hear voices, see shadows moving, and sometimes they vanish. But the students laughed it off, brushing aside the host's warning as mere superstition. They decided to camp in the forest, intrigued by its eerie reputation. The group reached the forest by mid-afternoon, setting up camp near a small stream. The forest was beautiful, but unnaturally quiet. No chirping birds, no rustling leaves, just an unsettling stillness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, an oppressive darkness enveloped the trees. Around midnight, Karen began hearing faint whispers. At first, he thought it was the wind, but the whispers grew louder, as if someone or something was circling their campsite. He woke the others, but no one could see anything unusual. They dismissed the whispers as Karen's imagination and went back to sleep. The next morning, the group explored deeper into the forest. They came across an abandoned shrine, overgrown with moss and vines. A rusted bell hung from the shrine's roof, swaying gently despite the still air. Karen rang the bell, laughing at the others' unease. Suddenly, they heard footsteps echoing through the forest, though no one was in sight. Panicking, they decided to return to their campsite. As they retraced their path, one of their friends, Mira, screamed. She pointed to a shadow moving swiftly between the trees, except there was no one casting it. The group quickened their pace, but the shadow seemed to follow them, darting closer and closer. When they finally reached the campsite, they found their belongings scattered and claw marks etched into the ground. That night, the whispers returned, louder and more distinct. They sounded like voices, calling each of their names. Terrified, the group huddled together in their tent, too scared to move. Around 3 a.m., Karen decided to investigate, claiming it was just their minds playing tricks on them. He stepped outside, armed with a flashlight, and walked a few feet from the tent. The others heard his scream moments later and rushed out. Karen was nowhere to be found, but his flashlight lay on the ground, its beam pointing toward the shrine. Desperate, the remaining three spent the entire night searching for Karen, but he was gone. At dawn, they made their way back to the village and alerted the authorities. A search party was organized, but no trace of Karen was ever found. Locals later revealed that the shrine was dedicated to a forest spirit, said to guard the land fiercely. They believed Karen had angered the spirit by ringing the bell. The whispers, they said, were the voices of those the spirit had claimed. The forest has since been declared off-limits after several similar disappearances. Villagers continue to avoid it, offering prayers at the edge of the grove to appease the spirit. The three survivors moved on with their lives, but never returned to the Western Ghats. Karen's fate remains a mystery, but those who visit the forest claim that, on quiet nights, they can still hear a voice calling his name. Story 10. The Curse of the Old Banyan Tree. In a small village on the outskirts of Rajasthan, there stood an ancient banyan tree at the edge of the fields. It was massive, its roots snaking deep into the earth, and its branches sprawling wide like a protective canopy. But the villagers feared the tree, calling it Shaitan Ka Ped, the devil's tree. Stories passed down for generations warned that anyone who disturbed the tree at night would face dire consequences. One monsoon season, a wanderer named Vikram arrived in the village. He was young, curious, and dismissive of superstition. Hearing about the banyan tree, he laughed at the villagers' warnings. "Ghosts and curses are for the faint-hearted," he declared. "It's just a tree." Despite the villagers' protests, Vikram decided to camp beneath the tree that very night. Armed with his lantern and a bundle of firewood, he set up a small tent and prepared to prove everyone wrong. The first few hours were uneventful. The rain had stopped, and a cool breeze rustled the tree's leaves. Vikram sat by the fire, reading a book, when he heard a soft sound, like whispering. He looked around, but saw no one. Brushing it off as the wind, he continued reading, but the whispers grew louder, and soon they turned into low, guttural murmurs. Vikram stood up, shining his lantern into the darkness. The flames of his campfire flickered wildly, as if disturbed by an unseen force. As midnight approached, the murmurs stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. Suddenly, the ground beneath the banyan tree trembled, and a cold gust of wind extinguished his fire. Vikram felt a chill run down his spine as a shadowy figure emerged from the tree's trunk. It was a woman, draped in tattered white robes, her long hair flowing unnaturally in the still air. Her face was pale and hollow, and her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "You should not have come here," she whispered, her voice echoing in the stillness. "This land is cursed, and so are you now." Vikram froze, his heart pounding. He tried to speak, but no words came out. The figure raised a skeletal hand and pointed at him. In that moment, a deafening scream filled the air, and Vikram collapsed to the ground, unconscious. When the villagers found Vikram the next morning, he was lying at the base of a tree, pale and trembling. He couldn't speak for days, but when he finally did, he recounted his encounter with the ghostly figure. The villagers told him that the banyan tree had once been a sacred site, but it had been cursed centuries ago when a group of bandits slaughtered an entire family seeking refuge beneath its shade. The spirits of the family were said to haunt the tree, exacting vengeance on anyone who dared disturb their rest. Vikram left the village soon after, but he was never the same. He would wake up screaming in the middle of the night, plagued by nightmares of the ghostly woman. Some say he eventually disappeared, his fate unknown. To this day, the banyan tree stands at the edge of the fields, untouched and avoided by all. On stormy nights, the villagers claim they can see a faint light glowing beneath its branches and hear whispers carried by the wind. And if anyone dares approach the tree, they are reminded of the bold stranger who paid the price for his disbelief. Thank you for watching. If these chilling stories gave you goosebumps, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more spine-tingling tales from around the world. Got a ghost story of your own or a haunted place you want us to explore? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious and stay brave.